Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of May. I hope you are well. Using the Llewellyn Tarot for you today. I know these are late. Thank you for waiting for me. I do appreciate it. So, we've had quite a few new people join the channel recently, so welcome to you. And also, thank you if you're a returning subscriber. You know, I love you for it. I thought we would go through how these readings are different to the main monthly ones. In the mid-months we are looking for the lesson. I believe that there is wisdom or a lesson contained in every experience and interaction that we have, if we are open to seeing it, and often we are not. You know the old saying that hindsight is 20/20. When we look back, we can often see why we couldn't go in a particular direction, or why this person wasn't, you know, right for us, or, you know, X, Y, and Z, however it resonates, right? But very rarely when we're in that situation can we actually see it. And so, you know, I've employed this to quite useful effect in my own life for a long time. That's why I'm here doing it with you, to help me kind of pull back from the situation, see the bigger picture of where I am being led, you know, what I'm supposed to learn, what's going on here with me. So to that end, what I intend to do is pull 3 cards to see where you are right now, right? What energy are you in? What's the environment? You know, what's going on within you? And then 3 cards to see why you are in that energy in the first place. And sometimes it will be showing you something about yourself. Well, actually, almost invariably it's doing that. Other times it will be showing you what needs to be released, or, you know, others still it might be what needs to be embraced. Given that we've just had Mercury retrograde, well, we're still in it actually. So very much in Mercury retrograde, but we have just had that full moon in Scorpio, and there was a lunar eclipse with it as well. The themes of release are really very strong at this point, so I'm inclined to think that that's probably where this is going for you, but we won't know until the cards hit the table. And then we'll end up with some cards of advice and see if we can't help you navigate the way just a little bit more easily. So I hope that makes sense. Bear with me, I'm sure it will by the end. Let's have 3 cards for Aquarius, please. Whoa, it's spun out. We've got the Strength card. That's Leo, your opposite sign in the zodiac. 2 more cards, please. We have the Hierophant, it's a card of Taurus. And we have the 5 of Cups. So, 5 of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck here. The 6 of Pentacles is sitting beyond it. Like, I don't feel like you are sat in an energy of stagnancy. I don't feel like you are grieving or mourning a loss particularly. But I do feel like you are examining where you have come from and where you are going. Because, or almost the other way around actually. Where you are going and where you have come from, right? The Strength card for me, it does talk about strength, yes, and it is the card of Leo. But we're talking about a kind of strength of character more than anything else, right? An emotional strength. But the Strength card also talks about growth and personal development for me, right? It's about expansion. It's ruled by the sun, right? So it's about being big. It's about being able to tap into those reserves that you have built up through time. Well, obviously through time, right? Through difficult situations. But the Hierophant card is about history. It's about provenance. It's about the way that we've always done things, right? It's about structure and reliability. Sometimes it's about society and things like that, and it may be that you're giving some thought to how it is that you're supposed to expand within this. The 5 of Cups is an interesting interestingly reflective card. That's what I'm getting off this. I mean, normally the 5 of Cards deals with grief or resentment or bitterness. Yeah? It's kind of like an all-encompassing energy of focusing on the wrong thing. But it feels altogether more objective and detached. Now I'm sitting here talking to you about this. It's almost like kind of reflecting on times where you have been in a 5 of Cups situation. Right? Definitely where you have been and where you are going. And quite what the route has been for you to get to that place. It's really interesting energy. I like it. It's just sort of observing. There isn't really any judgment with it from you. There's a sort of neutrality to the way that you're looking at this. Because I think that you can see that there's a sense in it somewhere. It's Five of Cups. Temperance, yeah. Temperance and the sun. I knew it. I knew you weren't sat in this kind of energy. There's healing here that has happened for you. And with this Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, like I said, it's this kind of sense of like looking at everything from quite an objective, healed place and working out where you go from here, right? Where's your development? What is your wish, right? This is sometimes called the wish card, but it's often more to do with your own emotional well-being, right? So sometimes we can't have the things that we want, but we can be happy with the things that we have, you know? I think that's kind of the route to happiness personally. But there's something very contented about the Nine of Cups here, and noticing that it's sat right on top of the Devil. Right? You've had to go through quite a lot to get to the point where you can even consider what makes you happy, rather than, you know, things that have left you feeling stuck, you know, things that you've had to do because you've had to do them, rather than the fact that there was any kind of emotional engagement with those things. It could be that the Devil has always been for you really tapping into your emotions, like making what makes you happy, rather than, yeah, I mean, it's kind of looping. That's how it feels. It's kind of looping backwards. Every time you try and think about what makes you happy, you end up at the Devil, you know, or at least you did at one point. And so it's the kind of situations that you got yourself into, and then you're like, well, fuck, I'm here, I'm stuck now, what do I do about this? And it's always been about, well, sometimes I talk about this neutral line in the middle of emotions, right? And there are certain signs that seem to skitter about the bottom underneath here, and any kind of improvement in their life is only really getting themselves back up to that level of neutrality where everything's not shit, which is not the same as everything is good and I am happy, you know, because it's only really from that point of neutrality that you end up being able to kind of move towards what is good. And that whole looping thing there, it feels to me like a lot of what you have mistaken for happiness in the past was just an absence of shit at that particular point, right? But something has changed and something has shifted with you. And so from this place that's quite healed and is starting to feel relatively positive, there is this objective assessment of the time in which you have spent in that Five of Cups energy, where you have mourned loss, where you have felt like everything had gone. In order that you can work out where it is that you're going, I do feel a really strong sense of you making sense of what it is that you have experienced. Okay? Bringing yourself up onto a level and knowing that it is only you who can do so. You see why Aquarius is in this energy. Aquarius in this energy. We have the Magician. Nice. We have the Chariot. Nice. One more card for Aquarius, please. And the Knight of Wands. Yeah. There you are at the bottom of the deck. King of Swords. Sitting there, watching, observing. Working shit out. What's underneath you? The Lover's card. This is really profound. This is deceptively profound, Aquarius. Right? Because where you had the Devil sitting underneath the Nine of Cups before, right? And it was stuck in that loop. It was only ever getting at neutral and then coming back down again. Here, now, we have you taking absolute ownership of everything, right? And the Devil and the Lover's card, interestingly, has come out for a lot of people. this month. The devil and the Lovers card are the same card, right? Numerologically, they both reduce down to 6. Well, the Lovers is 6, right? But the devil is 15, which reduces down to 6. But they're always depicted in a very similar way, right? We've got that kind of angelic being or a demonic being, and then we usually have the two naked characters who are stood beneath it, right? But in the Lovers card, they're naked and they're free to make whatever decision they want, right? Any choice that they want, they can do. In the Devil card, they're kind of bound by the neck, not tightly though, because there's always an illusory aspect to the Devil. If they wanted to, they could take those and they could just walk off. But the Devil's power is in making them feel like they are powerless, like they cannot do anything about it. This seems to me what you are reflecting on here at this point. But you seem to have flipped the script. You've changed the narrative altogether, because now it's about what you can do rather than what you can't. You know, I come across this a lot actually this month. It feels like it was a lot anyway. I can't really remember all of the readings, but this notion of taking what is good and expanding it rather than focusing on what you haven't got or the losses or, you know, what's there, what's not there that you need, you know, kind of looking at what you do have, what you've got, and kind of pushing it out to fill the edges, you know, expanding it to fill the holes. And you've also got the two cards of manifestation in the major arcana. You've got the Lover's card and the Magician. And this is really important, because when it comes to self-empowerment, knowing that you have everything that you need in order to manifest exactly whatever the fuck you want to manifest is the first step, actually. You can want something really, really hard, but if you don't believe that you're powerful enough to bring that in, then that's just going to flop about in the ether like some sort of wet fish out of water, you know? It's about discovering your own power. And more so, the ability for you to be able to direct travel, you know? Understanding that you have in some way consented to what has happened to you, even if it is just the feelings that it's brought up in you, especially if it's the feelings that it's brought up in you, and especially if feelings have not been something that have been terribly comfortable for you for a long time. You know, this period of contemplation is really good. I mean, it's astrologically supported, right, with the Mercury retrograde and all that kind of thing. But I feel like you're releasing anything that feels devil-like to you. Anything that only leads to neutrality is not really very useful to you at this point. We're looking for things that actually allow you to expand. So to this end, it's like, what do you want, Aquarius? Because very soon you're going to be in a position, a very strong position of being able to manifest that for you moving forwards. And this assessment that you seem to be doing, this Five of Cups, Five of Pentacles, like where have I fucked up in the past? Where have I done it wrong? Why? It's very casual. It's very objective. I'm just kind of poking it with a stick. We're like, huh, that's quite interesting. Right there, you know, and then seeing what happens when you flip it over and look at its underside. Because we've got the Knight of Wands, we've got these cards of movement, really strong movement here with the Chariot and the Knight of Wands. But the Knight of Wands is not a card particularly given to a sense of duty or anything like that, right? It goes where the good things are. And I feel like that's going to be increasingly important for you moving forwards. You know, it could be that, yeah, you know, maybe you hate your job and you want to do something that you actually love instead, right? And suddenly you've got the drive and the motivation to start bringing that forward to you. Maybe you don't mind your job, but actually you'd rather be in a different place. Well, again, that same sort of energy is here waiting for you, you know, to be ready for it. I feel like there's going to be a point towards the end of this 2 weeks where you're going to stop kind of poking this thing with a stick and flipping it over and seeing what it does if you know, do that. I've got this kind of like giant woodlouse image in my head, just kind of flipping over and see what it does. What happens if you poke it here just a little bit, you know, and you make it do it that with its leg, something like that, right? But it's an internal perspective going on here on a situation that has already been and gone. It's already passed. So that you can get really clear about what you want, what makes you happy, and how it is you are going to get there. And this feels really solid. It feels like a very powerful thing that you're doing, Aquarius, even if you're doing it kind of casually, you know. Let's get some cards of advice, please. Thank you. One. So we have the Nine of Swords. We have the Nine of Pentacles. And one more card, Aquarius, please. And we've got the World, right? Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to what you choose. Okay. There's a there's a major cycle ending here, and this is why I think the energy of objective assessment and flipping over your woodlouse is happening here, because you want to make sure that you've got everything in the right place. You want to make sure that you're doing it in the right way. You may not have even consciously realised that that's what you were doing. I mean, we've got the Ten of Cups and the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck here. I think a huge part of this is a reassessment of what is a good environment for you to be in, right? What is an emotionally supportive environment for you to be in, which is not necessarily something that you've ever really given much consideration to before. But I love the fact that these two nines have come up here, because they're very much about the individual, very much about the self, you know. But it seems to me that it's a choice, and it's always a choice, because that Lover's card was there. And also the Devil card, right? Choice, no choice. Well, you have a choice to decide that there's a choice, right? But it's also a choice to decide that there is no choice. And here's what you get to choose between, right? You can either lose a lot of sleep over something, you can get anxious, you can overthink the shit out of something, or you can just accept, as we have here with the Nine of Pentacles, that actually you are incredibly capable and you've got a lot going for you. You've got an incredible set of resources which are actually expanding on the daily as you are experiencing more, and you choose where you get to direct them. Like, this is just scattered and sporadic energy that has nowhere to go, right? And it's like, this is very focused. And you feel to be like you're getting into a very focused mindset, very focused. And it's indicating the end of a major cycle for you. Like, there's the World card, right? Expect possibly that there are going to be things around you that are kind of closing out now, in reflection of who you are becoming, right? As you cease to resonate at that particular frequency and you start resonating a little bit higher, so those things that matched your frequency down here will just peel away, and that's fine, that's okay. And I think that you're probably quite prepared for that. There are a lot of cards here of marshalling your energies, marshalling your resources to go off in a different direction, and I think you're ready for it. And when it's time, you're going to stop flipping that woodlouse over and you're just going to go and do those things instead. But this feels like it's a necessary part of your process before you do that. It's really interesting, Aquarius. My South Node's in Aquarius, so I like looking at how your minds work. It feels very good to me, very familiar. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I really hope that this has helped. As you know, that's the only intent I ever set with these readings. So, know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.